All right, guys, welcome to the video here. What we got going is a bad day. On this truck, I was doing a wheel seal on a drive axle, like I've done 100 times before, and when I was reinstalling it, somehow the bearing got pinched on the spindle, and when I went to pull the hub back off, like you usually do when that type of stuff happens, the bearing stayed, and it pulled out the new wheel seal, and the bearing has been stuck where it sits. The whole process took me about 20 to 30 minutes to do. I tried to save this bearing, and it wasn't happening. Eventually, I got to go ahead from my boss to just get it off and let's protect the spindle and save the spindle. So that's what took place. Ended up basically breaking the bearing off, and then at the end of it, I used a tool that I wish I would have just used in the beginning, because there's a very good chance it would have saved time and potentially could have made the whole process with less destruction and headache. So hope you guys enjoy. So what I started with here, guys, I took some pry bars and I was using the brake shoes as a leverage point to push on the seal, which was pushing on the bearing. At this point, I was still trying to save the bearing. There is a slot which would have worked a lot better in between the seal and where the end of the spindle is, where the seal sits up on, but I didn't want to risk damaging that with the pry bars. So I didn't really have the best leverage point, and it ended up not ultimately working, as you will see. So guys, at this point, I decided, hey, this stuff is not working. We need to upgrade to more aggressive methods. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to get the brake shoes out of the way. So I'm using this brake drum spring tool. It's a fantastic tool. Super basic design, but it works amazing. A lot better than trying to use vice grips or a pry bar and all those other methods that the older style of tech use. Great tool, guys. Invest in good tools. It makes your life a lot easier and it's a lot safer. So what I'm doing now, guys, I'm going to ratchet on the slack adjuster, which is going to turn the S-cam to make it easier for me to pull these brake shoes off. So as I'm sitting here trying to tap this off, like I'm hitting it with a purse because I don't know how to swing a hammer with my left hand, clearly, I realized, yeah, this is not going to work. So I switched to the right hand and was a little happier with the result. Still wasn't working. So at this point, guys, the bearing we've already deemed is not going to be reused after I've hit it with a hammer 100 times. So I'm about to switch to more aggressive methods, and I'm going to destroy the bearing. So what I'm attempting to do is I'm putting the pry bar tip where the rollers sit. That way it's a good spot to kind of lock it in. Obviously the bearing is spinning on me, but I want to lock it in that slot because I don't want it to slip off and damage the spindle. So at this point, guys, I realized, hey, this is not going to work. I knock out the rollers here. I didn't have anybody else with me in the shop at the time to be able to basically hit the bearing on two sides at one time. And so I was like, okay, we need to come up with a new plan. Guys, I wish I would have just done this in the beginning because it probably would have saved the bearing, but grab the air hammer here and it works like a charm. Air hammer is your best friend. Guys, all that beating, and I literally could have probably just put an air hammer on it and it would have came right off. So a good lesson was learned from this, guys, about how next time to make my life easier. As I sit here and ponder my disappointment, here's what's left of the bearing. Obviously it's no longer usable, and we chalk this up as a learning lesson. All right, guys, that's going to sum up this video. We'll get this cleaned up and wait for our new bearings to show up, and hopefully the new ones go on without any issue. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please shoot me a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to throw them in the comment section, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good one.